what is the role of DBA in DBMS. In addition, we will be discussing various systems that we are going to discuss in, like client architecture system, what is centralized system, what is distributed system in DBMS. So that is we are going to discuss here today. So let's have a look at the objective first. What is the objective of learning same? Like I will learn, you will learn basics about DBMS. In addition, like what would be the outcome? You are supposed to maintain large amount of data efficiently in the end after learning this lecture. So let's discuss what is basically DBA in DBMS. So what is basically DBA? Let's talk about the same. Like DBA, as the name implies, administration. Administration. So database administration, it could be the function of managing and maintaining DBMS. Like DBMS, what is basically DBMS? Database management system. And the mainstream database management software like Oracle, IBM, DB2, Microsoft SQL Server, and that needs ongoing management. So, as such, organizations that use DBMS software often hire specialized information technology personnel. Those are called DBAs. Like IT is the use of computers to store or retrieve data and information. So, it is typically used within the context of business operations as opposed to the other technologies. So, that is called that personnel is called database administrator, that is use specialized software to store and organize the data. So there are certain responsibilities that we have discussed earlier as well. So what are the various responsibilities of DBA? Like he would be responsible for installation, configuration, upgradation of database server software and related products. In addition, he could be evaluating database features and database related products. Establish and maintain sound backup and recovery policies and procedures. Take care of the database design and implementation. Implement and maintain database security, that is, he will create and maintain users and roles. It could assign privileges as well. Next is database tuning. So it could be associated with performance monitoring as well. Application tuning and performance monitoring. Set up and maintain documentation and standards. Plan growth and changes, like that is concerned with capacity planning. Work as part of a team and provide 24 into 7 support when required. Do journal technical troubleshooting and gives like problems. And next is database recovery. So these are all the responsibilities of database administrator that we have already discussed in previous class. Now there are various types of DBAs. What are various types of DBAs basically? Like system DBA, that is referred to as a physical DBA, operation DBA, or production support DBA. So what are these types of DBA? Like that focus on physical aspects of DBA, such as DBMS installation, configuration, patching, upgrades, backups, restores, refreshes, performance optimization, maintenance, and disaster recovery. Next is could be various types of DBA that could added in addition to the same, like development DBA, that focus on logical and development aspects of database administration, like data model design, maintenance. In addition, DDL, that is data definition language generation for the generation of schemas, SQL writing, tuning, coding, stored procedures that are concerned with like SQL queries. Next, collaborating with developers to help choose the most appropriate DBMS feature or functionality and other pre-production activities. So there are various applications of the DBA, and application DBA are mainly found in organizations that have purchased third-party application software. For example, like enterprise resource planning (ERP) and CRM, that is customer relationship management system. So example of such application software includes Oracle applications. In addition, PeopleSoft, both now part of the Oracle Corporation, and SAP. So application DBA straddle the fence between the DBMS and the application software. and are responsible for ensuring that the application is fully optimized for the database and vice versa. So they usually manage all the application components that interact with the database and carry out activities like application installation, patching application upgrades, database cloning, building and running data cleanup routines, data load processing management, etc. So while individual usually specialize in one type of database administration, it could be system DBA, it could be development DBA, or it could be application DBA. But in smaller organizations, it is not uncommon to find a single individual or a group performing more than one type of DBA. Next is we are dealing with automation of DBA system. So what is basically automation of the DBA system? So what is basically automation of the DBA system? Like the degree to which the administration of a database is automated, it dictates the skills and personnel required to manage databases. On one end of the spectrum, a system with minimal automation will require significant experienced resources to manage perhaps like 5 to 10 databases per DBA. So, like alternatively, an organization might choose to automate a significant amount of the work that could be done manually, therefore reducing the skills that are required to perform certain tasks. So, as automation increases, the personnel needs of the organization splits into highly skilled workers to create and manage the automation, and a group of lower skilled line like DBA who simply execute the automation. So, in addition to this, database administration work is complex. It is repetitive, it is time consuming, and it requires significant training. Since databases hold valuable and mission critical data, companies usually look for candidates with multiple years of experience. Database administration often requires DBAs to put in work during off hours, for example, for planned after uh, downtime in the event of database that is related outage or if performance has been severely degraded. So DBAs are commonly well compensated for the long hours. One key skill required and often overlooked when selecting a DBA is database recovery. That is a part of disaster recovery. So it is not the case of if, but a case of when a database suffers a failure, ranging from a simple failure to a full catastrophic failure. So the failure may be data corruption, media failure, or user-induced errors. In either situation, the DBA must have the skills to recover the database to a given point in time to prevent loss of data. Next is various administration tools that could be used. Often, the DBMS software comes with certain tools to help DBA manage the DBMS. Such tools are called native tools. For example, Microsoft SQL Server comes with the SQL Server Management Studio, and Oracle has tools such as SQL Star Plus and Oracle Enterprise Manager like Grid Control. So, in addition, third parties such as BMC, Quest Software, and various technologies like Patch Vantage and SQL Master Group offer GUI tools to monitor the DBMS and help DBA carry out certain functions inside the database more easily. So another kind of database software exists to manage the provisioning of new database and the new management of existing database and their related resources. The process of creating a new database can consist of hundreds or thousands of unique steps from satisfying prerequisites to configuring backups, where each step must be successful before the new can start. So a human cannot be expected to complete this procedure in the same exact way time after time. So exactly the goal when multiple databases exist. So as the number of DBAs grow, without automation, the number of unique configurations frequently grow, and it could be costly or difficult to support. So all of these complicated procedures, it could be modeled by, I can say, best DBAs into database automation software, and it could be executed by standards DBA. So software has been created specifically to improve the reliability and repeatability of these procedures, like grid application or grid system clarity. Next is what is the impact of IT and cloud automation on administration. Automated DBA operations has grown since 2019 following AWS, that is Amazon Web Services. That is the introduction of AWS relational database system that could provide automated and managed database as a service. So Microsoft Azure, they launched a similar automated database as a service in 2010 with SQL Azure. It could provide automated backups with Azure application and high availability. So the introduction to Docker software, that is a container basically. It has enhanced support for the vast delivery of containerized database instances. And both Amazon Web Services and Microsoft Azure have enhanced automated support for containers in their respective services. So the third-party support for database container images has grown, including MongoDB, MySQL from Oracle, and Microsoft SQL Server from Microsoft, and from independent ports of Docker software from Windows. Next is the development of Kubernetes operator pattern by core operating system further extended the ability to orchestrate database container, and Kubernetes operator have been used by third parties to enable the ability to automate database administration. So it could include deployment of instances of a database, upgrade database versions, or perform backups. Like new technologies like data palette and grid application system. Now, Clarity have begun to increase the automation database, causing the reduction of database related tasks. However, at best, this only reduces the amount of mundane repetitive activities and does not eliminate the need for the DBA. So the intention of DBA automation is to enable DBA to focus on more proactive activities around database architecture, deployment, performance, and service level management. So in addition, every database requires a database owner account that could be related to admin that can perform all schema management operations. This account is specific to database and cannot log into data director. So you can add database owner account after database creation. So data director user must log in with their database specific credentials to view the database, its entities and its data, or to perform database management tasks. So database administrator and application developers can manage databases only if they have appropriate permissions and roles granted to them by organization admin. Next, the permission and roles must be granted on the database group or on the database, and they only apply within the organization in which they are granted. So how we are supposed to deal with database administration here? Like there are several professional persons that are available, including that could allow programmers to learn the rules of database administration. Also, I can say DBMS vendors like Oracle, Microsoft, IBM. They offer certification programs that is to help companies to hire qualified DBAs practitioners. And there are also degrees that are related in DBA so that one can learn the if and buts of the DBA in a detailed manner. So there are certain responsibilities that are associated with DBA. So it could be an individual or a group that could have a centralized control of the database. So it could act as a centralized manager of the database that he is or going to handle. Next is he has a good understanding of database, and it could coordinate all the activities of the database. For example, like it could define the schema, like what would be the physical structure of the database in which we are going to store data about the organization. What would be the type of data that I am going to store? What would be where we are going to store the data? What would be the architecture for the same? What is the hierarchy that would be followed for the same? Now we will define storage structure and access method, like where it could be stored, how it could be stored. Either it could be stored in the form of tables, or in table it could be stored in the form of rows and columns, and various data types that are associated with attribute values that could be defined here. Next is how we can modify the structure, how we can modify the storage. So that privilege could also be given here. Next is how to grant authority rights to access the database. That could be discussed here. Like if some persons want to use the database, then if he or she can use it without any problem, or he has to gain certain control over the same in order to have a uh, gain over the information that is being available in database. Next is how to monitor performance and how to respond to the changes. Like monitoring performance is concerned with the like efficiency. In addition, like if there are certain changes that are required, how we are supposed to respond to those changes without any delay and without any problem. So these are certain points that we are supposed to keep in mind while we are dealing with the definition of DBA. So there are certain languages that could be used like database languages. Once data is filled, manipulation is required like insertion, deletion, modification of the data. For these, a set of languages is provided by DBMS like transaction control languages. What are those languages? Like it is the data definition language, data manipulation language, and data control language. So what is basically data definition language? Data definition language, as the name implies, it is concerned with creating the database, like add certain entries into the database, delete already existing records in the database, and if we are supposed to deal with the certain operations, then we are supposed to deal with the same. Next is manipulation, that is concerned with updating the database. We are supposed to deal with the same. Next is control language is there, how we are supposed to handle various operations in database so that it could not go beyond control and everything could be handled efficiently and performance could be achieved. High performance could be achieved or high efficiency could be achieved. So let's discuss at each language one by one what is the role of each language in database. So first is data definition language. So what is data definition language? It could be used by database designers to define the schema of the database. And in addition, a DDL compiler, that is data definition compiler, it could convert DDL statements and it could generate a set of tables which are stored in, for example, SQL. It could be employee table, it could be customer table, but it could be stored in table. Next is data manipulation language. What is basically data manipulation language? As the name implies manipulation, it is concerned with the updation of the operations for accessing and manipulating the data, and it can also happen in SQL as well. Next is control language. What is basically control language? So that we can control the access to database. That is the data that is stored in the database. So there are certain operations like connect, select, insert, update, delete, execute, and usage. So these are all the examples of the operations that we are supposed to use with all the three languages when we are dealing with database queries. So these are all types of commands that we are supposed to encounter when we are dealing with the queries in DBMS. And especially the software used for the same is SQL, MySQL that could be used, that is structured query language. So in that we are supposed to deal with the queries and we are supposed to write queries. After writing the query, there could be a output that could be given to us in the form of the database. So we can create queries, select queries used like select star from customer, select star that we have discussed. Now we are moving to the next topic, that is various architectures that we are going to discuss. So next we are starting with the database system architectures. So the journey from big mainframes to PC has also evolved the database and its architecture classification. It could be centralized database management system architecture, client server architecture, or distributed architecture system. So it could be any of the architecture, and we are supposed to discuss all the architectures one by one. So let's discuss about client server architecture first. What is basically client server architecture if we are supposed to deal with the same? Then what is basically client server architecture? So as the name implies, client server architecture. As the name implies, client server architecture. So what could be there inside the client server architecture? Like there could be a client, there could be a server, and client is sending various requests to the server, and server is handling all the requests that are raised by the client. Because in layman language, we are generally talking about client server in such a manner. So client server architecture could be connected with one server, and server is like center lines, and it provides services to all clients, and all clients request to the server for different services, and the server display the result according to the client's request. So this is main about client server database architecture. Now, if we are dealing with client server architecture, it is a computing model in which the server hosts like computer and send and messages manages most of the resources and work to be required by the client in this type of architecture. And it has more or one client computers attached to a central server over a network. So this system shares different resources. So client server architecture is also called as a networking computing model and client server network because all the requests and demands are sent over a network. Next is what is the working behind client server database architecture system in DBMS. So let's discuss all about one by one. Like there could be a basically client server model that could define how the server provides services to the client server, and it is a centralized computer that provides services to all the attached clients. For example, file server, web server, etc. So each the basic work of server to provide services to each client. In addition, the client can be a laptop computer, it could be a tablet, or it could be a smartphone. So the server has many types of relationships with clients, and many servers have one-to-many relationships with clients. In one-to-many relationships, many clients connected with one server. So if we are talking about one client who wants to communicate with the server may be accepted or reject the request of the client. So when the server computer accepts the requests of the client, then server maintains a connection according to a defined protocol. And the protocol rules over the network that must be followed for any network connection. And if the one client wants to send an email over the network, it requests the server the SMTP, that is Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. That is standing for Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, and it is used to transfer a mail over the network. So SMTP could be a set of commands or command that check authentication and transfer of the email. When configuring the settings for your email program, you usually need to set the SMTP server to your local internet service provider SMTP settings, and after all the process, the server will transfer email to the desired client. So another example of client server model is online gaming, because we are concerned with online gaming, and the structure of client server database architecture in DBMS could consist of three tiers. Like it could be concerned with presentation tier, it could be logical tier, or it could be data tier, and each tier type builds and maintains independently. If we are talking about presentation tier, so this is the first and topmost level of the application, and the basic work of this layer provides user interface. The interface is a graphical user interface, and it is an interface that consists of menus, buttons, icons. And the presentation tier presents information that is related to work like browsing, sales, purchasing, and shopping carts content. So it attaches with other tiers by computing results to the browser or client tier and all other tiers in the network. Second is logic tier. The logical tier is also known as the data access tier and middle tier. So it lies between the presentation tier and the data tier. So it basically controls the application function by performing processing. The components that build this layer exist on the server, and it could assist the resources sharing these components. Also define the business rules like different government legal rules, data rules, and different business algorithms, which are designed to keep data structure consistent. Next is data tier. So what is basically data tier? It is basically the DBMS layer. So this layer consists of the database, and it can be used through the business services layer. So in this layer, data is stored and retrieved, and the responsibility of this layer is to keep the data consistent and independent. Providing data its own tier also improves scalability and performance. This layer consists of data access components. So what are the various advantages of client server database architecture in DBMS? Like, if we are supposed to talk few, then all the data and resources that are controlled by server. In this way, all the data and resources are very consistent. Second is, you can easily increase the number of clients in this architecture at any time, because it will increase the scalability of the network. In addition, this is very easy to maintain. You can easily repair, replace, or add clients in this network. The independence of change, also known as encapsulation, and the network is very easy to use, and it is not complicated. Next, if we are supposed to discuss the disadvantages of client server database architecture in DBMS, then there are certain disadvantages that we are supposed to deal with, like traffic could be a big problem in this network. Traffic could be a big problem, and when you add large number of clients with the server, then this network will be more sophisticated, or I can say complicated. And when the server goes down, all the clients are not able to send their requests, and the whole work will be stopped, and the hardware and software are very expensive, and the client does not have resources. For each resource they need to request the server, because of all the resources exit on the server. So this is about client server architecture. If you are having any question regarding same, you can ask me any question. So this is the architecture for the same client server architecture. It could involve client and a server. Clients are PC or workstations, and servers are powerful computers, or it can manage files, printers, emails, and client interact with server when additional functionality is required, or by using its own machine. So this is the client, this is the application server, and this is the database server. Client is associated with user interface, application server is associated with application program, and database server is associated with database tables. So this is all about client server architecture. So have a look at the same. If you are having any confusion, then you can ask me any question. Main structure of the client architecture is concerned with three tiers, like presentation tier, logic tier, and data tier. So presentation tier is concerned with the presentation, like icons, graphical user interface, what could be menus, what could be buttons, what would be the design of that. So these are the main things that we are supposed to look at when we are dealing with the presentation tier. And if we are dealing with logic tier, and we are supposed to deal with the process, and data tier is concerned with database management system. So these are the main concerns in client server system. Next is centralized database management system. So what is basically centralized database management system? Have a look at the same. This is the client centralized database management system, in which there is a traditional form, like all the data functionality and applications are located on one machine, and we can access via communication link. So this is any organization which is having 4 departments or 5 departments are there in an organization, and all the departments are having two and like bi-directional relationship with each other. Like they can ask any query to the organization, that is centralized database management system, and centralized management system could respond to the queries by responding to particular request. So there could be 5 departments in any organization. If we are talking about our organization, Then there could be Suresh Ganwar University, and there could be computer science department, electrical department, mechanical department, civil department, and electronics department. So these are the 5 departments. They are coordinating with the central level of the database that is residing at the central place of the organization. So in this manner, the conversations occurs in the organization. So what is basically idea behind the centralized database management system? Like it could be a database that is stored at the single location, and like for example mainframe computer, and it is maintained and modified from that location only, and it could be accessed using an internet connection like local area network or wide area network. And the centralized database system is used by organizations, like I have given you the example of college, companies, banks. So it could be any centralized database management system if I am talking about any organization. So it could be related to purchasing, finance, sales, HR, that could be having the centralized database management system. So it can be like seen that from this diagram, that all the information for the organization is stored in the single database, and this database is known as centralized database. So there could be certain advantages that could be associated with same. In addition, there could be disadvantages that could be associated with the same. So let's have a look at advantages first. What would be the advantages of using centralized database management system? So first one is data integrity is maximized as the whole database is stored at the single physical location. It means that it is easier to coordinate the data, and it is accurate and consistent as possible. Next is data redundancy. That could be minimal in the centralized database, and all the data is stored together and it is not scattered across different locations. So it is easier to make sure that there is no redundant data that is available. Now all the data is stored in the one place. There can be stronger security measures that could be used around it. So the centralized database is much more secure. Next is data could be easily portable, because it is stored at the same place. And in addition, the centralized database is cheaper than other types of databases, because it requires less power and maintenance. And all the information in the centralized database, it could be easily accessed from the same location and at the same time. So there are certain disadvantages that are also concerned with the centralized database management system. So there are some that I am specifying here, like all the data is available at one location. So it takes more time to search and access the same. So if the network is slow, let's say nowadays everybody is relying on internet connection, and if the network connection is slow, then in that case, what would happen? Like the processes will take more time, like waiting time will be more, queue will be long, and we are supposed to have a wait for a long duration of time in order to get our processes done. Next is there is a lot of data access traffic for the centralized database, and it may create a bottleneck situation. In addition, all the data is at the same location, but if multiple users try to access it simultaneously, then it will create a problem. So this may reduce the efficiency, like performance of the system. Next is like if there are no database recovery measures in place and a system failure occur, then all the data in the database will be destroyed. So there are certain disadvantages that are having concern, and there are certain advantages in the centralized database management system. But it is located at the single location, and it can be maintained and modified from that location only. So we can access using an internet connection like WAN, but there are certain conditions that could be associated with the same, like because all the data is located at one location, and it takes more time to search and access the data, because it could create problem when the network connectivity is very slow. So this is about a centralized database management system, how it is managed, and what are the advantages of the same, and what are the disadvantages of the same. If you are having any query regarding same, you can ask me any question. now have a look at the distributed database architecture. What is basically distributed database architecture? Uh, Distributed database architecture, as the name implies, what could be the same? Like it is opposite of the centralized database management system, obviously, because in if we are talking about centralized database management system, then the data is available only at the single location, and we can access data from one location only. And if we are talking about distributed management system, then the data is distributed between or among various departments that are already there in the organization. But in centralized management system, the data is like centrally located at the single location. But if we are talking about distributed, it is already distributed, mean to say every department is managing their own data. So instead of asking only single authority to fetch the data, we are having uh, data at for the particular department at their own disposal. So there is no need to raise any kind of request. There is no need to wait for a long time. There is no need to exchange response time, because if we are dealing with centralized database system, response time is more. But if we are talking about distributed database system, then it could be, if it is managed effectively and efficiently, then it is very easy for us to use the same. We can even exchange the data with the departments as well. So let's have a look at the distributed database architecture. What is basically distributed database architecture? A distributed database system allows application to access data from local and remote databases. Like if we are talking about like homogeneous distributed database system, then each database is an Oracle database, and in heterogeneous database system, at least one of the database is not an Oracle database. So distributed database uses a client-server architecture to process information requests. So there are three pieces of information that we are to deal with when we are talking about distributed database architecture: homogeneous distributed database system, heterogeneous distributed database system, client-server distributed database system. So if we are talking about distributed system, database system, so this one is the first architecture, like homogeneous distributed database system. So what is basically homogeneous distributed database system? So it could be a network of two or more Oracle databases that reside on one or more machines, and distributed system that connects three databases. For example, like there could be three databases, like it could be related to sales, it could be related to manufacturing, it could be related to any other department you might have written here. You can write any other department here as well. And an application can simultaneously access or modify the data in several databases in a single distributed environment. For example, like a single query from a manufacturing client on local database manufacturing can retrieve joint data from the products table on the local database and the department table on the remote database. Now for a client application, the location and the platform of the databases are transparent, and you can also create synonyms for remote objects in the distributed system so that users can access them with the same syntax as local objects. For example, if you are connected to database but want to access data on database and creating a synonym on MSG for the remote department, then tables enables you to issue this query like select star from department, and select star from department will return you with the all the attributes that could be there in the department and with all the tuples that could be there in the department. So in this way, a distributed system gives the appearance of the native data access, and users on manufacturer do not have to know about the data they access resides on the remote databases. Like an Oracle database distributed system can incorporate Oracle database of different versions, and all supported releases of Oracle database can participate in a distributed database system. So in spite of this, the applications that work with a distributed database must understand the functionality that is available at each node in the system. So a distributed database application cannot expect an Oracle database to understand the SQL extensions that are only available with Oracle database, because otherwise it could be a mixing of the various databases, like SQL and Oracle are getting mixed together. Because if we are supposed to deal with Oracle, there could be syntax that is different from if we are dealing with the SQL. So distributed database, like we can compare it with the distributed processing. How we can compare the same, like distributed database and distributed processing? They are closely related, but they have different meanings. Like distributed database is the set of databases in a distributed system that can appear to applications as a single data source, and a distributed processing, that is the operation that occurs when an application distributes its task among different computers in the network. For example, a database application typically distributes front-end presentation tasks to client computers and allow a back-end database server to manage shared access to a database. So consequently, a distributed database application processing system is more commonly referred to as a client-server database application system. So distributed database system employ a distributed processing architecture. For example, an Oracle database server acts as a client when it requests data that another Oracle database server manages. Next is like distributed database versus replicated databases. So the term distributed database system and database applications are related yet different. So in a pure distributed database, the system manages a single copy of all data and supporting database objects. And typically distributed database applications use distributed transactions to access both local and remote data and modify the global database in real time. So the term replication refers to the operation of copying and maintaining database objects in multiple databases that are belonging to a distributed system. So while replication relies on distributed database technology, the database replication offer application that benefits that are not possible within a pure distributed database environment. So most commonly, replication is used to improve local database performance and protect the availability of application because alternate data access options exist. For example, an application may normally access a local database rather than a remote server to minimize network traffic and achieve maximum performance. Furthermore, the application can continue to function if the local server experiences a failure and other servers with replicated data remain inaccessible. Next is heterogeneous distributed database system. So in a heterogeneous distributed database system, at least one of the database is a known Oracle database system. To the application, the heterogeneous distributed database system appears as a single local Oracle database, and the local Oracle database server hides the distribution and heterogeneity of the data. So the Oracle database server accesses the known Oracle database system using Oracle heterogeneous services in conjunction with an agent. And if you access the known Oracle database data store using an Oracle transparent gateway, then the agent is a system specific application. For example, if you include a C-based database in an Oracle database distributed system, then you need to obtain a C-based specific transparent gateway so that the Oracle database in the system can communicate with it. Alternatively, you can use generic connectivity to access known Oracle database data store so long as the known Oracle database system supports the ODBC or OLEDB protocols. Next is what are basically heterogeneous services. So heterogeneous services is an integrated component within the Oracle database server and the enabling technology for the current suite of Oracle Transport Gateway products. So HS provide the common architecture and administration mechanism for the Oracle database gateway products and other heterogeneous access facilities. Also, it provide a quadly compatible functionality for users of most of the earlier Oracle transparent gateway releases. So transparent gateway agents, what are those? For each non-Oracle database system that you access, heterogeneous service can use a transparent gateway agent to interface with the specified non-Oracle database system. So the agent is specific to the non-Oracle database system. So each type of system requires a different agent. And the transparent gateway agent facilitates communication between Oracle database and non-Oracle database system and uses the heterogeneous services component in the Oracle database server. And the agent executes SQL and transactional requests at the known Oracle database system on the behalf of the Oracle database server. So if we are dealing with generic connectivity here, what could be the same? Generic connectivity will enable you to connect to the non-Oracle database data store by using either a heterogeneous services ODBC agent or a heterogeneous services OLEDB agent. Both are included with your Oracle product as a standard feature, and any data source compatible with the ODBC or OLEDB standard can be accessed using a generic connectivity agent. So the advantage to generic connectivity is that it may not be required for you to purchase and configure a separate system specific agent, but you can use an ODBC or OLEDB driver that can interface with the agent. However, some data access features are only available with the transparent, or I can say transparent gateway agent. So this is about distributed database system, in which we have discussed about like homogeneous, heterogeneous distributed system, what is distributed database system versus replicated databases. In addition, we have discussed about generic connectivity. So what is basically generic connectivity? What is the function of generic connectivity? In addition, we have discussed about distributed database versus replicated databases, and distributed databases versus distributed processing. So this was all about distributed database system, and we have to deal with client server architecture as well if we are talking about the distributed database system. Like client server architecture could be like a database server, that is the Oracle server that is managing the application or database, and a client is an application that requests information from a server. So each computer in the network is a node that can host one or more databases. So each node in the distributed database system can act as a client, a server, or both, depending on the situation. So the host for the database is acting as the database server when a statement is issued against its local data. For example, like the second statement in each transaction issues a statement against the local department table, but it is acting as a client when it issues a statement against remote data. For example, the first statement in each transaction is issued against the remote table, that is employee in the sales department. So we are supposed to deal with the transactions here. So a client can connect directly or indirectly to a database server. A direct connection occurs when a client connects to a server and access information from a database that is contained on that server. For example, if you connect to the HQ database and access the department table on this database, and you can issue various commands like select star from department, all the department attributes could be selected, and all the tuples that are existing in that department, that could be returned. So this query is direct because you are not accessing an object on a remote database. So in contrast, like an indirect connection occurs when a client connects to a server and then accesses information that is contained in the database on a different server. For example, if you connect to the HQ database but access the employee table on the remote sales database, and you can issue the following command like select star from employee @sales. So this query is indirect because the object you are accessing is not on the database to which you are directly connected. So this was all about distributed database system. If you are having any query, you can ask me any question. Let's discuss the advantages of DBMS system. It could control data redundancy, that like duplicates, data consistency, because no inconsistent data exists when we are using DBMS. Control over concurrency, like computer file based system, or you may override the values recorded by the other. Backup and recovery procedures are available, and data independence is there. So this was all about your today's class. If you are having any query, you can ask me any question. Next is a reference book is available in the college library. You can get it issued from the library and have a look at the same. Book by Korth. It is available in our college library. Get it issued from the college library. In addition, you are supposed to attempt quiz. Multiple choice questions are given here. 10 questions are given here, and you are supposed to attempt the same. 10 questions are given here. You are supposed to attempt the same. This was all about your today's class. If you are having any query, you can ask me any question.